The following is a production of cprundown.com. The views and opinions expressed by the host of this podcast are those of the individual and not of any affiliated companies. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Rundown on Fun, a weekly podcast covering the Cedar Fair Entertainment Company, the amusement industry, and the business of fun. Here are your hosts, Karsten Anderson, Evan Schultz, and Kyle Hu.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of the Rundown on Fun, a weekly podcast where we cover Cedar Fair, Cedar Point, and everything to do with fun. And we're back this week for a couple reviews and a singular news story, and that's about it.
I mean, we do have a lot of reviews.
Yeah.
A lot of corny reviews.
A lot of tasty. Hey,
there it is.
Is that a little tease for next season, Kyle?
It might be.
Ooh.
We're
it.
upgrading here. We're getting really technologically advanced.
Yeah, the podcast suite's getting a few upgrades.
It is.
And a little behind the scenes, this is our second time taking this because that didn't go as planned the first time.
No.
Yeah.
Not at all.
Yeah.
It's fine.
34
all right.
episodes, though, and that's the only time I've ever messed up that bad.
Hey, you know what? Evan and I
There's
have
no
messed up.
evidence of it to the listeners, so it's all good.
Yeah, for sure.
And it took me like 20 episodes to get a quality microphone. So
It always
we're all
takes me
good.
every episode to figure out my microphone situation. So it's all good.
Hey, you're on a 2-week streak, buddy.
Yeah, but next week is going to be our brand new season if everything goes correctly. This is the last episode in the season. I'm excited and sad and everything above.
Yeah, we started this almost a year ago. Our first episode was on June 10th of 2022. So if all goes to plan, our next episode will be on the 8th, which is pretty dang close. So we'll just categorize that as the start of season 2.
Well, we'll have to do a mini celebration or something. That'd
Yeah,
be
of
pretty
course.
cool. I'll make sure I go out to Costco, and I've got a week to mail you guys a cake. So
Yeah,
All
I
right.
should be able to categorize it within podcasts so that season 1 and 2 are actually separated, but I haven't looked too far into that yet.
well, that'll be cool. Nice.
Cool.
Well, Evan, you want to jump in some food?
Well, yeah, since I'm the food guy. So basically, as mentioned last week, this past weekend, as mentioned on our last episode, this past weekend, we got to partake in Frontier Festival, which for those who don't know, it's a yearly festival that Cedar Point puts on in Frontier Town, which is full of different foods to try, different beers to try, arts and crafts and shows and games for the little kids, whole lot of shopping. They bring in outside vendors to sell little knick-knacky things. And the park partners up with Prayers for Maria, a organization bringing awareness to childhood cancer and hopefully an end to childhood cancer. So it's a really great event. Works like or every single year they do a different theme. This year it was corn. The last couple of years they did cherry. So it was nice to kind of get a little switch.
It
So
was
we talked.
nice.
Yes. So we talked through the menu last week. So we talked about what we were excited about. And this past Saturday, Karsten, you and I got to try all of the food.
Can I just say,
a
disclaimer,
lot.
I was extremely full after all of the samples that we were able to partake.
So we both got a 10 taste card,
Mhm.
and each food is one ticket. And they give you plenty of food, I think, for that one ticket.
I would say so. I mean, if you were wanting, to get a drink or something or whatever, and if you were just wanting to do all drinks and stuff and their specialty drinks or beers or whatever, I mean, that's I think you said last week on the episode, it was like 80 ounces of beer
Yeah.
that you
So
can consume.
so each beer sample is 8 ounces. So quick math, 8 times 10 is 80 ounces for $60.
That's a lot of beer.
Yeah, that's a heck of a lot more than what you would be getting if you just bought beer in the park. So
And
that's cool.
I will say real quick too, the tasting cards, that $60 or whatever that is might seem pretty steep, but in previous years, food and alcohol were all multiple tickets. So you just said all the food was one ticket. Was the alcohol one ticket?
Yep.
So I remember in previous years when it was like Brew and Barbecue and the first couple years of Frontier Festival, the food would be like 2 tickets and the alcohol would be like 3. So yeah, the price went up, but the value portion there I think is pretty good. So I just wanted to say that right at the top of the show, that even though the ticket bundles are more expensive than in years past, you get more out of it than you did in years past.
I think you could easily, well, maybe if you're not that hungry, you could feed like a family of 4 for that $60 tasting card.
And
I mean,
for a nice little quick lunch or something.
That's exactly what my parents did. They went up with the 2 of them and my grandma and my brother, and they got a 10 sample ticket and they ate all day, and none of them were extremely hungry, and they were all super happy.
Yeah, it's definitely a good size. And if you break it down, if you didn't want to get 80 ounces of alcohol, of beer, you can do like if you used all your tickets for food, it's $6 a piece for a good healthy size snack size meal. So I think it's a win. Also, I think another thing which is really a win is they don't have those little tickets anymore that you have to like try to cut off or rip or whatever. They have a QR code on each individual lanyard, and they pretty much just scan your QR code at the register. And then if you ask someone that's scanning like your QR code or whatever, you can ask how many tickets you have left. So I think that's obviously we're like saving the planet. Yay. But I used to misplace a lot of those. Like I'd rip off a few of those and then I'd like wash my, my shorts or whatever or something. And then they'd go through the wash and then they'd be no more. So
that's actually a pretty good idea too, because in 2021, when I was a seasonal intern at the park, I worked in the marketing department, but staffing was a challenge at the beginning of the season. And I did pull a couple shifts as food service at Frontier Festival. And those tickets were very, very, very hard to rip off, to the point where people would not be able to rip them off, and we'd have to get scissors and cut them off.
Yeah, they were pretty. The cardstock was pretty thick and pretty intense. So it was a welcome change, at least for me.
And also worth mentioning that the day of purchase, you don't have to use all of your tickets. So if you're a season pass holder like us, you can get the 10 taste ticket and just use like
a few
2 of them per visit between now and the 18th of June, and have a nice little snack or even a light meal every single time you're there between now and then.
Yeah, that's what I would always do, because I never bought the season meal plan. So what I would do is when they would go on sale for pass holders, they were always a little bit cheaper. I'd buy like 3 lanyards and just use them for the duration of the festival. I'd take one with me every time, get a couple samples, get a couple drinks, and then that'd be it, and bring them back the next day.
Yeah. So that's really awesome that they do that, and they don't force you to eat it all in one trip. So I think without further ado, should we just jump right into?
Let's do it.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Should we do it kind of in the order that we ate them, Karsten?
Yeah, let's do that. And I mean, we don't have to go into crazy. I know that currently, Evan, you've got a blog that will be out very, very shortly that goes crazy in depth of what we got to eat and kind of like our ratings and stuff. I think we could maybe like summarize it and then maybe give us a rating and say what we, something about what we liked and whatever. So
so quick little
obviously we don't want to spend an hour on this topic, but
if you want all the details, there's gonna be a blog up on the CP Rundown site tomorrow or Friday if you want to read all about it. Ding. My own personal ding.
Yeah, right.
Hold on, I got you.
Oh, there it is. Hey.
All right. So first thing we tried, because this is the thing that I undoubtedly was the most excited for, was the corn on the cob with various butters.
Yes.
And as we found out at the event, the various butters are herb butter, chipotle butter, and garlic butter. You can either choose one and they'll dump it on your corn on the cob for you, or you could choose all 3 and get them in cups on the side. Now, for me, I just got the chipotle one to start, but later on, on Sunday, when I was there with my mom, we got all 3 of them to try.
Mm-hmm.
But chipotle was my favorite. The corn was really, really good. It's just a standard corn on the cob with some little bit of spicy butter on it. And it was some of the best corn on the cob I've ever had, if not the best.
Yeah, I think the corn on the cob, like I would assume it's like sweet corn, because it was
very sweet.
was really good. Like it wasn't small and everything, so it was a big
It was
size
healthy.
corn.
It wasn't like rotting.
Yeah, yeah, and it tasted like it had like maybe like a smoky kind of taste to it, to the corn a little bit. But yeah, that oh my gosh,
It is supposedly smoked corn on the cob.
that Chipotle butter. Let me just say,
the Chipotle
is
butter is so
fire,
good.
fire.
Without being gross, it took every ounce in me to not just drink it. That's only partially a joke.
Well, a good thing there's a first aid nearby in case.
Yeah, for when I have my heart attack eventually here.
Oh, if I can get some of that Chipotle butter and put it on like some movie theater butter or movie theater popcorn.
Movie theater popcorn. Oh my God, yeah. It was
Man.
Joking aside, it was really, really good. It wasn't super spicy, but it had a little bit of a kick. So it was really good.
It had a lot of good flavor.
And I did try the garlic butter and the herb butter. Both are very good, but I don't know. Make your own opinions, but Chipotle butter is where it's at for me.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
So moving on from there, we tried and I think this was the winner for both of us, even though we like the corn so much. The corn on the cob. It's all corn. The chorizo jalapeno flatbreads. So this was like, I think we decided just like naan bread or something, basically, with cheese. Don't know what type of cheese it was. Chorizo sausage, corn, obviously that was roasted, some roasted jalapenos, and some sort of like sweet and spicy, like I think we decided like Asian zing sauce, but it had like kind of a sweet barbecue-y taste to it, basically.
Yeah, I would agree.
And yeah, this was it was absolutely phenomenal. It was pretty spicy. It was really hot, came out of the oven nice and fresh.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember saying that this flatbread mixed and then the corn on the cob would be an awesome thing to add to the meal plan at one of the locations in the park, because I would get it very often. It was so good.
Even if they had it, I think year round, I think I'd actually pay a premium price. Like I'd pay like maybe $10 or $15, even if they put it up in the Grand Pavilion or something and have that as another option for their flatbreads up there. I'd pay for it.
It was very, very good. And to your point, I feel like a lot of times these food festivals are like a trial run for some foods they're thinking about rolling out into the park.
Mm-hmm.
I think when they did the Fire and Ice Food Festival, God, that was probably like 2017.
Yeah.
Where Wild Mouse is now.
Right.
I believe the shrimp from that made it into the park the following year. So anyway, so if you really like some of this stuff, keep buying it, because they'll take note and roll it into the park.
And email the park, definitely, like, contact the park and let
post
them know
about it, everything, if you really like something.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, getting the two best ones I feel like out of the way early was the corn on the cob and chorizo jalapeno flatbread. Those were absolutely the two winners for us too, I believe.
Oh yeah.
I don't want to speak for you, Karsten, but
no, for savory, that's where I was at.
It was so good.
Mm-hmm.
And then
a lot of flavor, a lot of layers of flavor.
Yes. And not to be outdone, at least for me, I know you weren't quite as high on these as I was, but the corn fritters. So basically these were little cornbread balls, but
kind of like a hush puppy.
I wouldn't say cornbread, because they didn't really taste like cornbread. Definitely prepared differently and fried, I believe. And they drizzle it with sour cream and chives. I wouldn't. This isn't the like official way of explaining it, but I would say like the corn version of a baked potato. That was like the best way I could describe it. Okay. But it was. I got this on Saturday and thought it was pretty good, and got it again on Sunday and decided that this was also one of my favorites. And if it's not even with the corn on the cob and the flatbread, it's just behind it. I really, really liked this.
I thought it was good. I thought it was good, but it wasn't like, a home run for me. So, it was something to like, oh, hey, there's something over there to try. And I wasn't let down by it. I guess I'm not a big fritter kind of fan, I guess.
For me, it was the sour cream topping really did a lot for me. But, and I think, and I mentioned this in our little review video of the corn ice cream, which we'll get to later, but I think another point of these events is to try weird things that aren't normal food items. And you're you're not gonna like everything that's being
Right.
offered, because some of it is intentionally kind of weird and stupid.
Yeah.
And a lot of it too is also up to the person's taste. Like, I'm not a big like cheese person, and I'm not a big sweet tooth person. So a lot of the desserty stuff didn't really like a whole lot. Whereas others, I feel like probably were doing backflips over it because it was really good.
That's very true. Yeah.
So with that in mind, what I said about the cheese, the elote, did I get the pronunciation right this time?
I think Kyle's are.
Yeah, you did.
Yay. Okay. Sweet corn quesadilla. I feel like a lot of people probably really liked this, but I just don't really like elote cheese. And even though I like it on like Mexican street corn, I don't know, it wasn't doing a whole lot for me. But I don't know. That's like one of those things where don't take my word for it, because I just don't really like quesadillas in the first place.
I
So
love
Carson,
quesadillas.
what did you think?
Yeah.
And you really liked this, didn't you?
Yeah. Yeah. If
This
you
is
love
one of your
quesadillas,
favorites.
this is definitely a quesadilla you guys need to try for sure.
So there's the speaking to my point about this is really up to your own personal taste. So don't just take
Right.
our word for it on a lot of this stuff.
And feel free to email us on the Facebook page and say,
And tell us
hey,
that we're stupid and have no taste.
or that, or just to let us know what your guys' favorites are, but like,
Yeah.
hey, I was able to try that, the
Yeah.
quesadilla and thought it was amazing, or,
Yeah. And I think a lot of times during these events, they're almost a month long. So a lot of times things change for good or bad by the end of the event. So
right.
just because you really hated something in the beginning, you might really like it by the end, just
Yeah,
because
you never know.
they might change the style or whatever. I don't remember specifically what items, but I remember that happening in a few different items in the previous iterations of this event. So anyways, quesadilla, big home run from Karsten, a cheese fan. So there's your really real official review of it. Because my word really just does not count here. So next up was the jalapeno creamed corn empanadas, which before I even get into how they tasted, the portion size on these, they gave us 2 empanadas for 1 ticket. And they were, not that Taco Bell tacos are huge, but for 1 ticket, you get 2 like Taco Bell taco-sized empanadas.
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome. So they're really not skimping out here. And I don't know, they were all right. They weren't like crazy good, but the salsa they put on top of them was really, really good.
Yes.
And they just kind of had corn and jalapenos on the inside.
I think the
so you can't really
toppings
go wrong.
I think the toppings definitely made that a lot better than what we initially thought it was going to taste like. So
yeah, it was the empanada on its own was like, it's all right, but the salsa really drove it home. I thought.
I agree.
Next up, we have the Red Bliss potato pierogies, which for me, when I saw these on the menu originally, I'm like, all right, what does this have to do with corn? So what they did to make it have to do with corn is they had like kind of a corn salsa. I wouldn't say salsa because it didn't have a salsa type flavor, but like a roasted corn topping that they drizzled some sour cream on to go with the pierogies. And the pierogies, and I only know this because I saw them wheel carts of the pierogies out from the backstage areas. They're from a local place called Ohio City Pasta.
Oh,
and they actually grilled the pierogies right in front of us at the park, next to the quesadillas, and then served them with the park's own corn topping thing. So the pierogies were super good. They actually used like red skin potatoes on the inside, which I don't think I've ever really seen.
Yeah,
and that's coming from somebody who eats pierogies religiously.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So the pierogies were pretty good. I'm a huge fan of sour cream with pierogies, and that wasn't offered, so that's kind of a shame. But yeah, they were good, and the corn topping, and I think it was kind of a reach for the pierogies, but it was good on its own.
I mean,
I
don't
have a problem with it.
I'm a pierogi fan, so
so anytime I'm eating pierogies in a park, I'm happy.
Yeah, for sure.
And then I think this is the last like real quote unquote food, and probably the most disappointing for me was the walking tacos they're supposed to be served with Fritos, but on Saturday they were serving them with Doritos, and they just kind of used some of the Miss Keats toppings because it was being served inside of Miss Keats, and I don't know, it tasted good, but it wasn't unique because it was basically stuff you can get at Miss Keats anyways at any point in the year.
Right.
So I don't know. That
Besides
seemed
having
like
a
maybe there
walking
was some miscommunication going on there on what that was really supposed to be. But yeah, I mean, I know that the steak and the chicken at Miss Keats tastes pretty good.
Yeah,
I know
I
that
mean,
now. So
yeah.
that told me that.
Yeah,
So
you'll be able on that blog. You'll be able to see the pictures that everything that we're talking about, and can kind of piece together everything.
yeah. So I feel like I would have liked it better with Fritos because that's how it was supposed to be served, and those are
Well,
very
corn is
based.
in,
Doritos are made with corn too, I believe, but
I think so, but I think
Um,
Fritos taste more corn. Maybe not. I don't know.
they taste more corny.
Yeah, I was gonna say that, but
You were gonna say it, and I did say it.
yeah, you're the foodie. I figured I'd let you do it.
Mm-hmm.
I think Kyle's over there just drooling by listening to all this food option.
Yeah, Kyle, I hope you ate dinner before recording.
I did, and my parents did try a good deal of this as well. So I'm reading through text, trying to remember what they said and look at pictures that they sent as well.
Is there opinions matching up with Evan and I's?
So far, except for the walking taco, my mom really liked that.
So when were they there?
Sunday. They were there Sunday.
Okay, so maybe they got a different iteration of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that's one I'd almost want to go back and try again.
It almost felt like, not to knock Cedar Point, but it almost felt like the staff was kind of like confused on that. I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah, it seemed like they were like, okay, we work at Miss Keats, but now there's this festival thing, and we don't know what
they
we
tried. So for
give.
reference, my parents tried the quesadilla, the pierogies, the corn fritters, and the walking taco, and also the I can't tell what it looks like, but it looks like some kind of like cheesecake or something. It's got whipped cream.
Yes.
Yeah. We'll get there.
Okay. Yeah, and then they had some drinks as well. My mom got that Rambler drink that's in a boot, and then my dad tried some of the local craft brews.
Cool. And I have before the dessert, I guess I'll take a little detour here and talk about those specialty drinks because during what was it called last year? Not Frontier Fest, the other Wild Frontier Nights. They gave specialty drinks in some sort of like mason jar, like cutesy cup. Well, this year for Frontier Fest, the specialty drinks are given in boots, little plastic boots, and they have 5 different ones this year, and I kept track of them. So they have the Rough and Rowdy, which is like they said a maple whiskey lemonade. The Rambler, which was peach blackberry lemonade made with various liquors.
That's the one that my mom got, was the Rambler.
Did she like it?
She did.
Okay. They have the White Lightning, which is a watermelon jalapeno margarita. The Apple Butter Tea, which was a caramel apple spiked Arnold Palmer. And the Lusty Lil, which was a crown apple mixed with cranberry juice. So take that information and do what you will with it. But so they have a lot of specialty drinks this year, a lot on top of dozens and dozens and dozens of different beers, both local breweries and stuff that you're used to seeing every day. So now on the dessert.
I was just saying, just really quick. You said that you were able to try. What was the one and the crazy flavors that they had that you've never seen before? That was
Angry Orchard.
Yeah, like they had like a tropical Angry Orchard, which I've never ever seen or heard.
I guess so. It seems like even with the brands that you're used to seeing, they had a lot of flavors that probably aren't at your local Giant Eagle or whatever grocery store you go to.
Yeah,
that's kind of cool.
So I wonder if it's like region based, possibly, maybe, and then they're deciding to like, hey, we sell that maybe in, I don't know,
in Hawaii.
California or Atlanta or something. And, they bring in that specialty flavor and stuff. So it was cool.
So don't roll your eyes at brands that maybe you don't usually pay attention to. I guess what we're getting at there.
Does anybody know off the top of their head if they brought back the pineapple cider this year?
I didn't see anything like that, and I think there's a beer menu online, but Angry Orchard's tropical cider or whatever sounded like it was basically pineapple.
Because man, they used
it was explained.
Anybody wants to see the full drink menu, Kyle, you included, you can go to the special events page on Cedar Point's website, click on Frontier Festival, and then click on the thing that's on their page, and then it'll actually open up a PDF of everything that you can do there. And then if you scroll all the way down, that says view more of like a tasting guide for like drinks and stuff, like the alcohol and everything, and then everything's pretty much listed there.
So you click a link to the link to the link to the link.
Yeah.
I used to cause some trouble after drinking a couple too many of those pineapple ciders at Frontier Fest, let me tell you. Oh my God. I took a picture of the bottle and like tried to track it down, and the only place I could find it that sold it in Ohio was Jungle Jim's. So I drove all the way to Jungle Jim's to pick up like a case of it.
And did it taste the same?
It did. It was exactly the same. And then I went to Kings Island after, so it was a win-win.
Well, there you go. And had some blue ice cream. Anyway, we're getting back off topic.
Well, speaking of blue ice cream, let's talk about corn ice cream.
Oh,
and Carson, I'm just going to let you go with this. Jesus.
Yeah, I mean, so we got to try a crazy, like a concoction, I guess you could say, that Cedar Point decided to do. Kyle's having too much fun over there.
I'm sorry. It auto played to a different video, so we're done with things for this episode. No more.
So we had corn ice cream, and if you want to see our full review, Evan and I did. We were going to go live and show our reactions, but unfortunately, the park was busy that day. But our service wasn't the greatest, so we didn't think the quality was going to hold up. So we just decided to shoot, like, it was literally a one take video. It was our honest opinion. And Evan thought it was really, really interesting.
No, that's not the word I used.
Weird.
The word, here, new drinking game. Every time I say the word weird in that 2-minute video, take a shot.
As long as you're 21 and older, please.
Yes.
Drink responsibly.
And I guarantee even the hardiest of drinkers will be drunk by the end of this video, because that's all I could say about this ice cream, because it's true. It was truly weird, yes, but in a good way.
It was weird, but in a good way. Like, it tasted really good. It was sweet. I think there was vanilla ice cream. Like, I'm not 100% sure, but it tasted like it.
So in the video, I was like, no, that's not vanilla ice cream. But the more I ate it, I think it really was vanilla ice cream.
But it's like
it has a weird corn sweetness to it, and literal just full pieces of corn in your ice cream.
Yeah.
Which is hence the weird comment.
Well, I think what was weird for me, I maybe not for you, but like you open up the ice cream and you know what ice cream kind of like, this is a texture. It's kind of like hard, and then it melts in your mouth, and it's got that consistency. But then when you take the ice cream with the popcorn kernels, the kettle corn or caramel corn, it literally
quick aside, it was served with caramel corn and I believe butterscotch topping on top.
It literally it just disintegrates in your mouth.
Yeah,
and you're like, you have this giant scoop full of everything, and it's very airy, and you're like, oh, where did all that whole entire, and then you get to the ice cream,
and then you're just chewing on a piece of corn.
Yeah. But I mean, it was good. It was different. It was very, very different.
Yeah.
But I liked it.
I don't know. Like, I didn't hate it. Like, it was, again, I said that events like this are to try some weird, stupid things. And somebody really said, let's throw some corn and ice cream. And they did. And it wasn't bad. And that is not something I ever would pay for. So they got me.
Yep. I would probably see that at like a festival and say, whatever. Oh, you're crazy.
If I saw that at if I went to my local like Mitchell's ice cream or Ben and Jerry's or what have you, or Gravers or whatever, and I saw corn ice cream, I would think it's a joke.
Right. You'd be like, wait, when I first thought with the corn ice cream, I thought literally the ice cream is going to be infused, like actually ice cream with infused with corn.
Like pulverized corn within it. But no, it was pretty much just vanilla ice cream with corn pieces.
Yeah. I mean, it was good though. Not to knock it.
So corn has a natural sweet flavor. So I guess in a way that kind of works.
Mm-hmm.
And although this isn't going in order of us trying it, I'm going to jump ahead to the corn, the sweet corn cheesecake square, because this was kind of the same deal, where this was a typical square of cheesecake with some whipped cream on it, and I think caramel or butterscotch, like Kyle said. But then you're eating your cheesecake, and then there's just a piece of corn in it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And again, weird, good, but weird.
Good but weird. But yeah, I don't know if they're gonna start doing like this kind of weird crazy stuff. I'm all for it. Like, I'll try something different. Like,
I'm all for it because this is stuff that I would never try.
Like a deep fry,
pay
like
for,
like a deep.
but
I was
I'll
gonna
give
say
it a
like a
try.
deep fried like Reese cup or like Oreo or
See, that's
whatever. It's kind of like, I don't
compared
know.
to corn
Am I
ice
gonna
cream.
like
That ain't weird.
Yeah, but it's kind of weird, deep fried Twinkie, and you're like, huh? And then you try it, and you're like, whoa, that's actually good.
Yeah. So that's kind of
Definitely check it out.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like everybody has to try the corn ice cream at least.
Yeah.
once. It was something.
It's almost like when I was a kid and I saw like the little ice cream bar that what was it? Ice cream or that they had in space or something, and you can buy it like just Dick's Sporting Goods or something, and it's like freeze dried ice cream or something.
The astronaut ice cream.
That's it. Yeah. And you're like, you're interesting. Well, maybe I'll bring you a thing for just hanging out in the Cedar Point parking lot, and you can we can try that together.
I'm good. Thanks though.
Oh yeah, that's right. You're not a sweet person.
Yeah.
Or
Again, I'm just gonna reiterate: sweet tooth, not me. So I'm kind of bleh on a lot of this
Give
stuff.
Evan steak and potatoes or steak and corn and
corn. Being
and he's
corny
good
today.
to go. Anything else is maybe hit or miss with sweet stuff.
Yeah.
So
Anyway, so moving on, some things that are we did weird and different. Now, some of the more like standard things you could get all the time that they had to sample was caramel corn, which was also served on the ice cream, but you could get it as a taste.
My parents got
good
that
caramel
too.
corn.
Now that I'm thinking about it,
What was that?
my parents got the kettle corn as well, not on the ice cream, but out of like the actual kettle.
Oh yeah, I mean,
so there was
it's
kettle
nice
corn and there was also caramel corn that you can get.
Oh, my bad.
Those
words are interchangeable to me. I don't know the difference.
So the kettle corn was very much the same stuff that they served during Halloween weekends. Smells really
I didn't
good.
notice any difference.
Yeah, tastes pretty good. It's all the same stuff. But the thing with the kettle corn is for one ticket, they give you a giant bag of it.
Yeah,
like a whole family can eat out of this bag and be happy with it.
Mm-hmm.
So just that's something a little, I guess, kind of way to, I don't know, break the system, I guess, is you really want a ton of food, go get the kettle corn and you could take it home with you and it's only going to cost you one ticket. So that was cool. That's the best thing to say about the kettle corn. So then the other thing was the popcorn slab, which I don't know. I didn't really like. It seemed like it was caramel corn, cheddar cheese popcorn, and just regular old popcorn, kind of with something. Maybe it was just the caramel from the little bit of caramel corn in there that just kind of helped it all melt together. And this was just over the top sweet for me. But again, I'm not a sweet tooth. So Karsten, somebody with a more normal taste palate, what do you have to say about it?
I mean, it was good. It was like different. I don't know if it was like, it almost felt like, like at Christmas when you get the giant like tin of popcorn that's got the caramel corn, regular popcorn, and the cheese corn.
Yep.
And it kind of just felt
melted it all together.
It melted it all together and kind of made a bar out of it. I thought it was really good, but it was really, really sweet.
Yeah. It was the popcorn version of a Rice Krispie treat. It was style of.
Yeah. But it was good, for what it is. So.
And then rounding it out, and to not sound like a Debbie Downer, the funnel cake fries with caramel corn drizzle. The funnel cake fries that they serve in the park anyways are already too sweet for me. So to throw that caramel corn drizzle on it, that was like, I think I ate like 4 of these fries and called it a day. It was also the last thing we ate, I believe. So
we were
I was pretty well tapped out at this point.
Yeah.
But again, for one ticket, they gave us, I almost thought it was a mistake. They gave us a like dinner plate full of these.
Yeah. I was like,
so
okay, cool.
You really like
a little thing, a little fry thing, and we ended up getting like a big tub of
right. Like normally the funnel cake fries serving size at Cedar Point is like if you went to McDonald's and asked for a small fry.
And
And
and I think I've
that would've been
had
fine.
those, and I think that's a perfect size.
Yeah, that's fine, especially for how sugary these are.
Yeah.
But it's this looked like you like ordered like loaded French fries for like a meal at like a sporting event
Yeah.
and
Hey,
like
you know,
doubled it.
if you're wanting big food portion sizes, we're listing off
Kettle
the things,
corn and the funnel cake fries, because
Yep.
good Lord.
and the
So-
empanadas.
Yeah. So of course, now that we're saying that, they're going to change it next week. They'll be like,
Right.
oh God, we weren't supposed to give away that much.
Right. No. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyways, that's all the food. Obviously kind of started with the best and ended with the worst, at least in my opinion. But all in all, it's a fantastic event.
Yeah.
I highly recommend spending the $60 to get the 10 taste card, or $40 to get a 6 taste card. And I saw even people with 3 taste cards. Those aren't advertised anywhere, so I don't really know how much they are.
Interesting.
And you could buy them online. You could buy them at the event. And again, you could buy it today, use it at the park on, tomorrow, and only use 5-year tickets and save 5 for the rest of your visits. So it's a really fun event. It really brings Frontier Town to life. I don't ever see Frontier Town as
We should
busy
also
as it is during
say
this
that
event.
we should also say that Frontier Town is open too. It's not like you have to have a ticket to walk around and
Yeah.
look at all this stuff and everything. So if you want to just meander and look at everything, like, you can do that as you please. So,
And if I know a lot of people are probably looking to shop specifically. All those shops are located kind of by the town hall, in front of the town hall bathrooms and Skyhawk, and like near Cedar Creek Mine Rides exit. And there's a lot of great local vendors of various kind of artsy craftsy type things there.
and you can get an
yeah.
official T-shirt too.
Yeah.
Support the cause.
Yes. I believe for the t-shirt bundles, proceeds go to Prayers for Maria. No, I'm sorry. They have chocolate bars from Mally's that are a specific flavor, that all those proceeds go to Prayers for Maria. So
That's good.
get out there, try all the corny stuff, try
Play
all
some
the
of the
drinks,
games.
play some of the games,
Yeah.
even if you're not a little kid.
I beat Evan in every one of my games. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Yeah, you did. I was hot and tired and crabby. And
Yeah,
corny.
you were like, I'm tired of all this sweet stuff. I want to go ride.
Yeah, that was
rides."
like in the middle of all their desserts, and I'm just like, dude, I need water and like 10 minutes.
yeah.
So,
for
yeah.
sure. But I was gonna say, speaking
10
of
out of
rides,
10 for Frontier Fest.
it was a win-win. It was definitely a win. I think it's a lot better than last year with
I'm glad
Or
they switched it up.
cranberry.
I'm
Yeah.
cherry.
or cherry.
Ooh,
sorry, yeah.
cranberry. That's some-
Ooh.
Hey,
Oh.
Cedar Point, we got an idea
Damn.
for next year.
No,
Cranberry stuff.
I have a feeling they're probably going to do corn for the next few years or so, and I'm okay with that. But hey, if they're gonna
Well,
have cranberry,
They did cherry. They did cherry for 2 years.
Yeah.
So let's do corn for 2 years, and now let's talk cranberry.
or potatoes.
I like that idea.
Ooh, they could do a lot with potatoes.
Yeah, I feel like it would get kind of dry and boring eventually, though.
Maybe.
I don't know. Anyways,
Or,
getting ahead of ourselves. I'm
Kyle,
on
do you-
board the cranberry train, though.
Do you have anything to add before we close this out?
Not really, no. From what you guys have told me and what my parents have told me, it sounds like it's as good as ever this year. So, a little bummed I won't make it back, but hey, maybe next year. Hopefully, they stick with the same theme.
Cool.
For sure.
So, if you don't want to eat food, there's something very, very, very big, popular, well-known event coming up this week. Kyle, you want to tell us?
Yeah, if you did buy those tasting cards and you didn't use all of them, go ahead and bring them with you when you're in town for CoasterMania, which is this Friday. Right? Friday? Am I right on that?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's what I thought. It's always the first Friday in June. But yeah, Cedar Point's their in-house coaster event, CoasterMania, is happening this weekend, and you two will both be on site, right?
Correct.
Awesome.
We shall
Actually,
be.
we're actually recording this a day early because I'm getting into Sandusky the night before, because the event starts very early in the morning.
It does.
And
Yeah.
actually, so they posted an itinerary, but Tony actually updated that itinerary to today to say that Millennium Force opens at 7:30 for us.
Ooh.
7:30 a.m. So
We'll be riding So who needs coffee, right? That's your adrenaline rush. That's your caffeine, right?
I don't know. I still needed coffee at Coaster Stock. I don't know about anybody else.
But were you riding Millennium at 7:30 in the morning? No, you were riding Diamondback.
Yeah, I was riding Diamondback in Mystic Timbers.
I thought he was eating donuts.
Mystic will do it.
I thought that was.
I might have had a donut. You know, if you he
was riding Mystic Timbers,
if you
eating a donut and drinking coffee at the same time.
If you watch official Kings Island Coaster Stock video from this year, you might see me sneaking a donut.
There you go.
They're good donuts.
So, Kyle, real quick, if our listeners don't know what CoasterMania is, you want to tell them what it's all about?
Yeah, so CoasterMania is Cedar Point's very own coaster enthusiast event. It used to be that you had to be an active member of a coaster club, but I think in the last couple of years they've dropped that requirement, right?
Yes.
Correct.
Last year, I believe, was the first year, yes.
Yeah, so if you're a coaster enthusiast or a ride nut, or you just want to have an awesome day at Cedar Point, you can't buy it this year because they're sold out, but you could buy an event ticket for roughly $50, I think.
Yeah, I was going to say 40, 45, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you get a lot of cool perks. So first of all, the rides open very, very early in the morning for you, and you get exclusive ride time. There's always fun stuff to do during the day. There's the cruise, right? Are they bringing that back this year?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So the cruise, there's like photo and video contests. You get a little swag pack. So you get like, you don't get a t-shirt this year, right? You get a custom made to throw poster.
Yeah, this year they swapped out the t-shirt for a commemorative made to thrill event poster.
Yeah, I think I made a deal with Justin that I'm going to get his. So we'll see.
Until he loves it so much that he's like,
I know.
I'm keeping it.
You know what? If he decides to keep it, because I know he's going to listen because he always listens. If he decides to keep it, no hard feelings. But if he doesn't want it, I'll gladly take it off his hands.
It'll be a little hard feeling. No,
Yeah.
Don't lie.
Yeah.
You already got a spot picked out on the wall.
Oh, I do. But yeah.
And a frame.
You get... So, I mean, you get a lot of fun little stuff like that. They always feed you a meal. You get a Q&A with park officials. Evening ride time. The park is open very, very late. It's just all around a very long and fun and exhausting day. But it's
exhausting in a good way.
Yeah, it's one of the best days of the summer at Cedar Point, honestly, is CoasterMania.
Yeah. If Memorial Day isn't the kickoff for summer, CoasterMania is. For me, at least.
For sure. It's like, start at 7 a.m. and you don't get done until like midnight. And you're like,
yeah. So check-in begins at 7 a.m. this year, and it runs till 10 a.m. So if you are going, you have to check in by 10 a.m. or you will not be able to participate. And it runs until midnight. So
sounds like my cup
potentially,
of tea.
if you're the first one to check in and you're the last one out, that is a 15-hour day at Cedar Point. I will not be doing that.
That's a lot of walking.
I'm going to be there probably till the end of it, but I'm not going to be there at 7 a.m. I'll tell you that much.
You'll be there at 7:30.
Yeah, we'll see. But yeah, I'm excited. I missed last year's, and this year they added a Millennium Force special access photo op. It says the Millennium Force infield and drop area. I was kind of scoping that out last weekend while riding the train. Not really sure where they're going to bring us, but we'll see. Because
I was thinking maybe I would assume the park's going to be open, so I was actually thinking they might take us in where the haunted house slaughterhouse is, and maybe put us over there, possibly.
Just kind of corral us over there.
Maybe.
Yeah, we'll see.
Maybe not.
But it'll be fun. It'll be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, really excited. Like I said, I missed last year, so it's going to be nice to get back to this one. And
for sure. I was going to say this isn't in our notes, but the Snake River Expedition opened up this past weekend, and everything that you thought and loved and knew about that, probably just throw that out of your head.
Yeah, they have a little bit of work to do.
Reset
we'll just say that.
Yourself and everything, because it seems like it's almost it's the boat ride, but it seems like it's kind of back to the corny jokes. There's only a captain. There was no lot, at least currently right now. There was no live entertainment on the boat. They don't like stop.
New storyline.
There's a new storyline. There's not as many. There's no actors or things like that. kind of thing. So it's very dubbed down, and I don't know if it was because it was like a budget cut or if that's what the way that they're wanting to go kind of thing. And I'm okay with it. Like, I just like a boat ride around on the water, and if they've got
some photo ops,
some interesting jokes, feel free to give them a laugh to make the captain feel better, you know.
Yeah, because it gets awkward when the whole boat is silent.
Yeah,
but I mean, you and I wrote it, and we went in knowing that the storyline was different, so we knew kind of what to expect.
Right.
But our captain was really good. I don't know if he was reading from a script or not, and I kind of hope not, because it would get a little old after a while. But he was really good, and he was really funny, and the jokes were delivered well. And I don't know, like you said, it was just a nice boat ride. But please, if you really loved Snake River Expedition's previous story, I am so sorry, but go in with the correct expectations.
Yeah. They still have all the cool stuff on the river, you know. They still, you know,
all the little moving animatronic thingies.
Yeah, and which is kind of weird, but they actually seem to be working really well. We wrote.
Yeah. So, it was cool.
Everything like that, but you know, just a side note. So, but speaking of new things opening up, Kyle, Kings Island is starting to open up their adventure port. You want to talk a little more about that?
Yeah, it seems like the first wave of the new for 2023 expansion, Adventure Port, which replaced most of the Oktoberfest section of the park, opened up this past weekend. So the addition brings 2 new rides to Kings Island. Cargo Loco, which is a spinning barrel flat ride made by Zamperla, right?
Yes.
And a Zamperla Endeavor, which is kind of like a new age witch's wheel, almost, for lack of a better term. Called
exactly what it is.
Yeah, called Soul Spin. And Cargo Loco opened up along with the kind of reimagined Adventure Express. So that was pretty cool, but Soul Spin has yet to open.
Looks very close to opening there. I know I saw them testing, I think, with water dummies or something. So I'm sure they're trying to get everything all state certified.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And Adventure Express has a lot of awesome new theming.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Everything I've heard out of the new area itself is rave
It just
reviews,
looks so good.
But
I think when you
Adventure
decide
Express,
to come up for you to check out whatever in that nighttime show and everything, I'm gonna come down and I'll join you, Kyle.
Okay.
And because I wanna try all this stuff out and everything.
Yeah.
So
I think I'm gonna stop there on the way to CoasterCon at Dollywood for the sole purpose of checking out.
Oh,
Adventure
you know what?
Port.
I guess I'm gonna probably do that then too. So
yeah. I mean, unless you're planning on driving straight by the park, you have to pass it.
I would
get
definitely.
To
it's a nice little, you know, you can stretch your legs, you can, you know, use your meal.
Especially being that it's like
rain.
kind of halfway in between our house and our houses and Dollywood. But yeah, I don't know. It looks really cool, and I just love seeing an old Aero mine train get so much love because that ride deserves it.
Well, another thing too is Kings Island just keeps getting better and better. Every year that you go to Kings Island, it's a better park than it was the year before. And it would have been very easy for the park to say, hey, we're doing this whole new area. We're not going to touch Adventure Express. It's fine the way it is. Like, it would have been so easy to make that decision, but instead...
And nobody would have complained.
No, and nobody would have complained, and I don't even think anybody would have faulted them for it, because it's been there. I mean, it's established. But instead, you know, the park said, hey, this is a ride that our fans adore. You know, it's so good. Why don't we just give it that extra little bit of TLC and just really elevate it to the next level? And I think that's super cool.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm so excited to see what they did. And I mean, they did this awesome like 2-day teaser campaign on their Twitter, like as leading up to Adventure Express's reopening with, you know, this whole storyline and then finally like get your passports out, Adventure Express now boarding, and you're like, oh my God, it feels like a new ride announcement. Like, it was so cool. So if you didn't see that, go back to Kings Island's Twitter from like last week this time and scroll through them, because they're cute and fun. And I love that kind of stuff. And normally that's reserved for brand new rides. And I look forward to seeing that kind of stuff when that thing over there starts getting teased. But the Adventure Express stuff was really cool, even though we already knew what it was going to be. Yeah. It was cool.
And Carson kind of touched on it too, but with Memorial Day weekend is Kings Island's official kickoff to the summer season, and all of their entertainment offerings are now available every day.
Mm-hmm. And
Fireworks.
they're open 10 to 10 every day.
Yeah.
So they got their fireworks show every day.
Yeah, the drone and fireworks show, Phantom Theater Encore, my personal favorite.
Yeah, I know you really like that, and you were kind of sad that you were going to miss it by, a week?
Yeah.
For Coaster Stock.
That fun fireworks and 50 show too. I've talked about it time and time again.
Yeah.
Was so good.
So good.
I mean that seems to me, I live down here in Florida and I go to the Orlando parks all the time and I see all the fireworks and nighttime shows they do. You could throw that in this town and it would work great. I mean, that's how good it was.
Wow.
Yeah.
So if
that's a really good way of putting it.
If this year's iteration is anything close to what it was last year, every single guest that walks through those gates is in for a real treat.
I'm a little disappointed because when I went down there to see it with both of you guys, it was July 3rd or whatever, and the park was just absolutely slammed.
Yeah.
And that was the only time I saw it. And because there were so many people there, and because people are people, they were talking through the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm not asking everybody to be quiet, but I couldn't hear the narration really that well or the music. So I feel like I didn't get the full effect of Fun Fireworks in 50.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm hoping this, what are they calling it? Adventure Awaits or something?
Yeah, I don't know what it's called this year. I just know it has fireworks and drones.
So I'm hoping it's a very similar show and that I can kind of get the real version and really enjoy it for what it was. Because you guys, I mean, Kyle, how many times did you see that show?
A lot.
I mean,
yeah. I did the
and
math.
every single time you loved it.
I did the math the other day. From the time that Kings Island opened last year in 2022 to the time that I moved down here in July. And keep in mind, I live a good 2.5 hours away from Kings Island. I went 22 times.
Wow.
I almost went more
That's
than
probably
Cedar
more
Point.
than some of the parks you've been to in Florida.
Yeah.
It
awesome.
is that nighttime show is called Adventure Waits.
Cool.
Okay.
Yeah. And it goes until September 3rd, so
Awesome.
you got some time.
But yeah, I can't wait
Awesome.
for
Wow,
Soul
September
Spin.
3rd. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I can't wait for Soul Spin to open. I'm pretty sure it's the exact same model ride. I don't know what it's called, but it's at Kentucky Kingdom.
Yep. I rode it on the Sunday of Coaster Stock weekend for the first time.
And it was a lot of fun. It's going to fit in great to Kings Island's flat ride collection.
Yeah, looking at the ride, I was kind of afraid it was going to be a little too like pukey and nauseating and whatever. But it was like, I don't know, like not going to sit here and say it was the best ride in the world, but it was just like, oh, that was kind of cute and fun.
I've ridden that.
It looks great.
It's an interesting feeling ride, but it like people are you
If
guys.
you've ridden the old paratrooper rides, like a Kennywood
Yeah.
or Waldemere, it feels like that, but it just goes upside down.
It's like Witch's Wheel, but it's very
Yeah, I
open
mean,
aired and like
if you didn't
you're
get
not in a
sick on-
cage.
If you didn't get sick on Witch's Wheel, you're not going to get sick on this. It's the same
No,
feeling.
definitely not.
I'm excited.
It's kind of a nice ride. So
I'm
it's all right.
I'm a big flat ride kind of guy, so
And it looks so good in that location. It's
Yeah,
so bright.
it really does.
It's
I can even tell there was a slingshot there before.
yeah. How many times have I said the what Cedar Fair is doing with these immersive themed lands is just awesome. I love it
Yep.
so much. So
Sure.
Kings Island came out of absolutely nowhere and did a little something today, or maybe they haven't actually officially unveiled it, but it popped up on I think Facebook. Karsten, you want to talk about that?
Yeah. Just
Not
a real
really
quick,
a lot to talk about. But
not a whole lot to talk about. Yeah, so Kings Island seems to be they wheeled out a brand new cart today. I think today. At least photos were starting to show up today on social media. But
I
it
don't
says,
feel like that cart is actually within the boundaries of the regular park yet. I feel like it's still kind of behind the scenes.
it is actually in front of right on the side of Flight of Fear.
Oh, so it
in
is.
the park.
It is in like plain view.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
My
is that like
mistake.
it's kind of like where that beer cart is by Flight of Fear?
Maybe it looks like it was like over by maybe
Or is it
yeah,
closer
maybe
to Orion?
yeah, I don't know.
I
But
don't-
anyway,
whatever. We're over analyzing.
anyway, it's fast lane single use, and it looks like they're going. It says wait less, ride more. That's I believe fast lane's like catch slogan, but
Mhm.
it looks like you'll be able to buy because it looks like there's a cash register that's like underneath this tarp, like and I don't know when they're going on sale, but
Or
they've
for
got
how much money?
right single use fast lane. So, and they've got Orion on the cart and also Flight of Fear. So I don't know how much. Yeah, like we said, we don't know how much money it's going to be for single use fast lane. But are you guys for that? Do you guys?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah. I'm interested in it. I've seen it at Six Flags parks for like $10 each, and it seems to work. And Busch Gardens slash SeaWorld parks. Well, I don't know actually about SeaWorld, but I know Busch Gardens Williamsburg and Busch Gardens Tampa maybe do single use fast lane things for like $5 or $10.
yeah, and
Yeah.
I think
Disney
that's
does
awesome.
it too.
Okay.
I think it's like Disney does that, right? Or
They do, yeah. Disney does it. This is not a completely new concept for Cedar Fair. I mean, think about back in the day when you used to play the Plinko games and you could win a one-time fast lane.
Yes.
Or, I mean, I've even seen it at Kings Island over in between Diamondback and the Brew House. Spin the wheel.
yeah.
So it's obviously with that, you know you're going to win a fast lane, but you don't know to what ride. Here, they're just kind of eliminating that game aspect, and you're just kind of paying.
Hey, give us $10 and you know what you're going to get.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's not.
My question.
Go ahead.
My question is this, because we know like how Cedar Fair likes to test things in different parks and see how things work. My question is are they testing this possibly to roll out to other Cedar Fair parks and maybe the Cedar Point or something?
Well, I mean, they
don't know.
could. Back in the day, Kings Island was their tester park.
Mm-hmm.
So
I mean, Fastlane did originate at Kings Island.
yeah.
I'm a little concerned if they do it at Cedar Point because I feel
As long
like
as they
Cedar
don't
Point's
oversell
fast
it.
lane lines. I feel like Cedar Point's fast lane lines are already a little long. I mean, I don't get fast lane, but like,
Well, you
I
wait
haven't
less.
noticed it so
You
much
wait
this
less.
year.
That's
yeah.
I know everyone wants to like pay like $100 and have like zero line.
Mm-hmm.
But when the
See-
line is an hour long and you only have to wait like 30 or 15 minutes instead of like an hour, I mean, you're still winning.
I will say though,
But
I've never bought Fastlane at Cedar Point, but I've gotten it before. They used to do that promotion where if you renewed your pass, or you know, I've gotten Fastlane at Cedar Point before. And the one difference between Fastlane at Kings Island and Fastlane at Cedar Point is it works very well at Kings Island because I've bought it many times at Kings Island. They don't oversell it, and their lines at Kings Island are almost walk-ons. You might have to wait 5 minutes. Versus Cedar Point, their fast lane lines are not the best. I mean, that's not a knock at the park, but has to do with
it's
where
it's
it merges and all that stuff.
It's either the merge point, or maybe it's just because like, you know, Kings Island for the like if you look around, there's a lot more teens that seem to be and maybe less families per se. So maybe that's why Cedar Point's able to sell it a lot easier, because I mean, if you're coming from, you know, California, or you're coming from Chicago or whatever, you're automatically staying at Breakers, you're like, well, I got to get fast lane so I can get on all these coasters before we leave.
I'll be very blunt about this topic. As long as they don't oversell it, and as long as it doesn't drastically affect the system that's already in place for the day guests that are paying sometimes $100+, I have no problem with it.
$200+ sometimes.
I have no problem with it whatsoever. Now, if it starts affecting that, maybe I have an issue with it.
Yeah.
I can almost see. Sorry, Evan. I was just say I can almost see this being like Kings Island, like, and like maybe smaller parks, because teens will just be like, hey, $10. Hey, boom.
Right.
Let's get on Orion. You know, I mean, 10, 15, 20. We don't know what the price, but you know what I mean?
Yeah. I think for this will be cool too for families that just, you know, they can't get on Orion for whatever reason. They came to ride Orion and the line's 2 hours. Then they come back and it's broke. And now they got the option of, hey, let's just shell out $40 for our family of four.
Yeah.
And we're all going to just run up the fast lane. We're going to be on and off of it in 10 minutes.
Well, think about it this way too. You know, when my family goes to Kings Island, right? If I want to get fast lane, not everybody in my family rides coasters. So right there, someone has to stay with the person that doesn't ride. So then instead of buying 4, you're only buying 2, but that's only helping 2 people. Here, it's kind of like, well, you know, it doesn't make sense for my situation to shell out for 3 full-blown Fastlane Plus wristbands. But it might make perfect sense if you're at the park on a day and you've been pretty lucky with lines, you did your research, But, like you said, Evan, for whatever reason, Orion is just 2 hours long. Fork over the $10, get on right away.
Yeah. So
If it's
I like it. I think it's going to work at a park like Kings Island where the fast lane lines aren't already kind of on the longer side, where they can tend to be already a little long at Cedar Point. So this might hurt Cedar Point, but we're Kings Island. If you're already with fast lane already being a walk on, they can only sell them so fast. Like the transaction takes a minute. So it's not at Kings Island. I feel like it's not going to make a difference at Orion, where a group of 10 walks up, they're going to get right on the ride.
Yeah. And another thing to think about as well is those people are in that line once, not all day.
right.
So,
I'm also curious to see how much this actually goes for.
like I said, I think even at Busch Gardens, Williamsburg, I think I've seen it for $5 for Verbolten, which is like the longest line in the park.
I think you could sell them at any price point up to about $15. After 15, I don't think it's going to be a viable product.
Yeah. Let me put it this way. They're not going to put it above Six Flags, and I did not see it above $15 at Six Flags. And I really want to say more like $10 because they don't want to be like, well, they're even more expensive than Six Flags. They don't want that image. So
Hopefully they go on sale maybe tomorrow, and we can be like, oh, hey, look at that.
Yeah.
We'll revisit it. So next week we'll be like, hey, by the way, they're $10.99. You get a, and if you have a prestige plus pass or prestige pass, you get like, a discount for $6.99, or if you have a gold pass, you get it for $7.99.
Oh, I could totally see that, like different price points for different pass holders.
Maybe. I mean, that's a crazy way to like if you've got those teenagers that are not buying fast lane because the families are buying fast lane and people that want to ride
easy revenue.
It's easy money. That's easy. Like when mom and dad give the teenager group like $50 or so each. And, you got to spend $20 on food or so, and then you've got an extra whatever. I mean, why not?
It costs the park nothing. They're going to make a couple grand on it a day, max. I mean, but it's going to enhance the guest experience. And that is huge. That goes a long, long, long way. So that wasn't supposed to be that long of a talking subject, but
yeah, I mean,
some good discussion there.
Absolutely. Good stuff.
All right. Well, that's going to round us out this week. Like we said, thank you for tuning in. This is going to do it for Season 1 of the Rundown on Fun. 34 episodes later, we're starting Season 2 next week. We'll talk to you then.
Yeah. So next week, we'll talk about some CoasterMania. Maybe we'll have some news on what the single-use fast lane really wound up being. And yeah.
I'm super excited to check out Season 2. And can't wait to talk to you guys at CoasterMania.
All right, that's going to do it. Take it away, Justin.
Thank you for listening to the Rundown on Fun. Be sure to follow us on social media to stay up to date on all things Cedar Fair. As always, be kind to your ride operators, and we will see you on the Midway. Good night.